Alright, we're getting into the heavy hitter awards right now.
Okay.
These are the big ones. Best Film of the Decade.
Best Film of the Decade.
Now, unlike all the other awards, the next two categories were not picked solely by me, nominated by me, or even voted on by me. Basically, the criteria for Best Film of the Decade was that if one of the contributors to the Zeros nominated one of those titles for Best Film of the Decade, then they were eligible.
Okay, so it's everyone who has mentioned a best film from
Every
all of the
single
contributors.
best film mentioned on this series up to this point for Best Film, all the contenders were nominated
So that's
automatically.
like 16 or 17 total
Oh,
or
it's
something like
a
that?
million, because some people were all over the place
Right.
and nominated a shitload, and it's an untold number of films. If you want to find out, go back and listen to the last 4 episodes
The
all
cycle.
over again. And then basically all of those films were eligible. That will change next year. Next year it's not going to be structured that way. It's going to be an open nomination to basically anyone who wants to vote or nominate. It'll be an audience choice driven award.
But this year,
To get the ball rolling, to set a tone, we took on board all the nominated films of the series and we picked one for Best Film of the Decade.
okay. Then the winner of the first annual GLAZBALL Award for Best Film of the Decade is the 2003 film by director Chan-wook Park, Old Boy. Okay, why Old Boy?
Why Old Boy? Old Boy, well, first of all, I consider it to be one of the best films of the decade. I'm sure a lot of the listeners have watched the film by now because it was nominated as a best film of the decade, and if you haven't, shame on you. The best way to describe it, it's sort of like a postmodern Sergio Leone spaghetti western recast as a Korean revenge saga. It's stylistically one of the most adventurous genre films of the past decade. It opened up Korean cinema to the West in a big way, and it's sort of a benchmark film. And, more importantly, it was selected as the best film of the decade by not one, but 2 of my contributors to this series.
Huh.
So that fact alone, I can't ignore.
For me, when I think about the film, I can't get the image of that extended hammer fight sequence.
The tracking shot.
The tracking shot is
the
incredible.
beautiful operatic music and the melancholic score. It's amazing.
And it's chaotic, where you're like, it doesn't seem like a usual action movie thing where, you know, people, the villains all line up and take their punch and fall down. It's just chaos.
I tell you, it's
and
almost
viciousness.
a different category of an action set piece in that it's purely psychologically driven. It speaks to not only the balletic, acrobatic maneuvers of the actors in the set piece, or even the choreography of the camera. It speaks to the psychology of the character, his relentless determination that nothing is going to stop him from wreaking his revenge on the people responsible for fucking him up in the first place. I like that. So congratulations to Chan-wook Park, director of Old Boy.